So you guys want to get better at infect. Last infected that we actually covered the smoker. Now, hopefully this video isn't 22 minutes long like the other one because that was excessively long. And overall, a lot of people didn't, from what I've seen, didn't really care for the reviewing part. So this video should be a lot shorter than the last one. And also, there's a lot more information dump. The spitter is still on my list of what to do next, but the spitter is gonna probably be actually the most complicated one that I do because there is a lot of difference between the vanilla spitter and the Zomod spitter, and also there's just a lot of information about spitter that people don't really understand that I never really understand until I actually sat there and went in the lab. But today's video, we're gonna go with the boomer. A lot of people have been asking me, I think the next infected should be Boomer because, Boomer is a very important infected, one of the most powerful infected, especially in vanilla. Like the Boomer is the most crucial infected to do anything basically. And what I'm going to be teaching you guys is I'm going to be teaching you guys how to puke through walls. Essentially, that's essentially what we're going to be doing. Now the Boomer is really loud, so I might just mute the game for this video because it's like really loud for some reason. But the Boomer is one of the most important effective, by the way, guys. If you don't know that, then you need to stop playing the video game because you're throwing. I mean, before we even start, let's talk about the very basics. That's what I like to do. I like to go over the basic information about Boomer, like the claw damage, the health, and everything. I like to go over counters, and I also like to go over unique tech about the Boomer. For example, we're going to be talking about arcing the Boomer, which is a very important tip, by the way. So let's talk about the basics. Claw damage is for like every single infected, health is 50, and then everything else doesn't really matter. Vomit interval, 30 seconds, but that also doesn't really matter. What I will say though is, guys, in zone mod, this is about 15 seconds. For all my zone mod players or people who want to get into zone mod, just know that the Boomer puke does reset basically in 15 seconds. So by the time that the Boomer puke ends, you could puke again, and so on and so forth. But in vanilla, you just most likely want to puke and just jump right in and die because by the time that you get your cooldown, believe it or not, your teammates are actually going to respawn before your even cooldown stops. So it's just better to get rid of the Boomer than to keep it and wait those 30 seconds because those 30 seconds you can just get another Boomer and puke again. You feel me? Now, a few things I want to go over before we even talk about Boomer tech, because I want to talk about the counters to Boomer, right? Now, one thing I will say about the Boomer is you are loud as fuck. That is the most indirect counter that you have. It is that you are loud as fuck, okay? Anything literally could be happening. I could be fighting a tank, doing all this other shit, right? Melee smoker, boom, killing everything, right? But you're still loud as fuck. I can just kill you. So that's just something to really keep in mind is that you are the loudest infected other than the jockey. But the difference is, which I will talk about later in my jockey video, you can kind of use that loudness to your advantage to make you actually the quietest infected. So, when that jockey guide comes down, I'll be explaining to you guys how that really works. But let's just talk about the Boomer. Your biggest counter is that you're a loud, big. Your biggest counter is that you are big, loud, with 50 HP, and literally everything except in the SMG kills you on one shot. So that is your biggest counter. Really, is just that you're just so weak, and I think that alone makes Boomer one of the hardest infected to understand and play, because unlike the Charger and the Hunter, you can just jump right in and just attack them, and basically that's it, just attack them. But with the Boomer, you actually have to think about what you're gonna do because there's just so many counters to you. Like if you're a Boomer and you're about to puke, the survivors could just shove you, back away, shoot you, call it a day. There's just so many counters to you, really, and that is just something that you just need to understand is that if you don't play behind cover or anything, if you don't play it smart, or you don't go when your teammates are going, you are just gonna die. That's just the simple thing. There's nothing I can really tell you. There's no unique counters. There's no nothing. There is just you are the easiest infected to counter. Where the fuck am I? You are just the easiest counter You're just the easiest infected to counter, and that is literally just it. That's really all I gotta say about the counter. There's nothing unique. There's nothing. The Not even the game likes you. Like even if you puke as an infected, if you puke as a Boomer, and a survivor standing in front of you, it won't go past that survivor. So really, you are just the hardest infected to play and understand. So just understand that no matter what you do, nothing's gonna go your way unless you know angles. Now, before we even start showing the arcs and stuff, I want to let you guys know what the puke looks like. So looking straight forward, this is what your puke looks like basically. And as you can see, it kind of spreads out. It's kind of far, but it also goes down in the arc. So it ends right about here. Standing right here, right? If I look straight forward and we puke, the puke will land right about there. But if you look forward and look up a little bit, you're gonna see that it actually goes further right there. So just keep that in mind. Typically what you want to do when you're a boomer is when you're puking, you want to just kind of do this because then your puke goes out a lot more. And there's like some spots, yes, that they could go to and just they'll be safe from. But for the most part, you're covering a lot more area than just a little area, basically. And doing that also allows your puke to go in areas that you wouldn't even think that it'd go to, like for example, over this wall. It wouldn't really go over this wall, but you get the point. If someone was up here and you just did this, it would hit them. So that's just something to keep in mind. People need to understand how to arc with Boomer, because arcing with Boomer, once you understand that you're basically invincible, once you start arcing, you become the best Boomer in your team. Simple. For example, let's just look at this. He is arcing over a 128 by 128 wall. That is a huge wall, by the way. I don't even think the parish wall is this big. The parish wall is probably like more like half this size. Okay, so if you're able to puke over this, which by the way, if you want to, you gotta be really far away and basically just do this and hope it hits. I was kind of close, but I had to be a little closer. Once you're able to like consistently do this, you become a threat. Now the issue with this one is this puking like that is actually a lot worse, but I'll explain that later. Let's first talk about the most common pukes that you could do. The most common puke that you could do is going to be a car. And honestly, this is also the easiest puke. You know, I can see Ellis right here, so if I puke, I hit him. Very simple. I see him, but he also kind of sees me, I believe. Yeah, he kind of sees me. He probably sees my little head, but that's about it. But like, think about it, guys. Your little head compared to this whole body of yours, that is a really, really huge decrease of your hitbox being shown. And another example, if you guys want to use this part, which is better by the way, you actually can. You could crouch here and stand up, and boom, you are able to actually hit people. The thing issue is though, if they're too close, you kind of can't hit them. Oh no, you can. You can. You kind of have to like aim kind of halfway on the hood, and then boom, you hit the boom. So I think that is way better, but a lot of times, you know, you can't do that, so you have to work with this. But these are going to be the most common booms you could do, and if you can actually get away with them, you are going to be hitting nasty things, trust me. Another common spot that you could do is the dumpster. Now, the thing about the dumpster though is, depending which side really, if you're like on this side, you see I'm puking through the trash can. If you're like on the shorter side of the dumpster, you can puke through it for some reason. But if you're on the longer side, obviously you can't puke over it, as you can see through the game. So if you're on, for some reason, the longer part of the side, which really never happens, then you're going to have to stand up and kind of do like that. Very simple, very easy. Another common spot that you could do is this one right here. With these, this is really popular in No Mercy Chapter 4. When you get up the elevator, you see these all over the place, and these can't be puked through standing up. But if you back up a little bit, just a tiny bit, you can start hitting people. And if you want to hit people a little closer to you, then you can just back up more, and boom, hit everybody else. Now the last thing I want to show you that's pretty common is this brick right here. This brick is pretty common in maps like The Sacrifice. These are really common in, and some other maps, I forget which ones. I'm pretty sure Blood Harvest is another one that this shows up in. But you could spawn behind this. They can't see my head, by the way. They can't see nothing about me. They can't see me, basically. And as you can see, I can puke directly over that, and it's really broken. It's really fucking broken. And you could do stuff like this to basically anything that you can think of. For example, Parish Chapter 1, the vents, the very beginning, this is how big the vents are. right? Like, you could literally stand up against it, or I think in the events you can actually crouch against it, and you're able to puke through the wall. Now you don't want to be too close to the wall. You want to back up a little bit so you could actually cover people closer to you. But the point still applies. Look at things that are this small. They can't see my head, by the way. They can't see nothing about me, and I'm still able to puke over it. Now, if I just back up a little bit, I will be hitting them. Yep. Boom. I hit Nick. So, if you guys want to actually get better at Boomer, this is a huge tip. And I think this tip alone will just make you better at Boomer. And this is really the only tip that you need to know about Boomer. Because I think arcing is way better than rocketing. And if you don't know what rocket booming is, it's basically when you go on a roof and you just take the momentum from your ghost mode into your spawned in mode, and then you just go flying off the roof at max speed and everything. I think arcing is better than that because arcing protects your whole entire body versus when you rocket, they can just easily shut that shit down. And I think that's an issue what a lot of people have is they rocket their boomers too much. So there'll be some situations where it's so obvious that the rocket boom's gonna come that they just shut it down, and you're just like, well, damn. And since you went first, you just get shit on, you know. Now this is something I actually kind of forgot to put in the basics. When you puke on one person in vanilla, right, public games and stuff, it spawns a horde no matter what. Now I don't know if the horde gets bigger the more that you puke, the more people that you puke on, but what I do know is that if you puke on one person, a whole horde is coming and it's gonna jump that person. So sometimes I'm not gonna lie, it's actually pretty good to get a one boom because then that one person is gonna be out of commission because they had the whole horde on them and they can't really do nothing. So if these three got pinned and this guy got puked on by himself, these three can't do anything, and this guy sure as hell can't do anything because he's getting swarmed by comments. Now, the thing I would want to say though is in zone mod, Boomer is a bit different. You know, not only is his cooldown significantly reduced, but also the commons that spawn are very minimal. If you only get a one boom, then about like 8 zombies spawn in. If you get a two boom, 16 zombies spawn in. You know, it's a lot more, but still not many. But if you get a 3 boom or a 4 boom, that's when the horde actually spawns. That's just something to keep in mind if you guys are trying to get into zone mod. You know, I actually like really enjoy zone mod a lot more than the base game, but I know there's a lot of people out there that actually want to get into zone mod. You know, in my Discord, people join and be like, "Yo, how can I get into this stuff?" And it's like, "Yo, you got to go to the website, blah blah blah." And I just want to be able to explain to people that there is a huge difference between the two modes, but it's not really that much difference. It's not a difference for the worse; it's a difference for the better. Now that's really all I gotta say about the boomer. The boomer isn't the most complex. In fact, once you realize that all you really do is just boom through walls. That's literally all you really do in this game. That's boomer. So yeah, I mean, if there's anything I did miss, let me know in the comments below. I do understand that I didn't talk about hit orders in this video compared to the smoker, but I just wanted to make this video a lot more shorter, a lot more straightforward, a lot more to the point, and understanding something that the normal player wouldn't understand. Like, how would you understand that you could boom through walls, right? Or how would you understand how the puke works and like the angles and everything? Just wanted to explain those basic things and also explain the difference between zone mod and vanilla. Just those basic things. I might actually drop a video explaining the hit order on how to hit things, but that would be more of a competitive side of Left 4 Dead type of video because in vanilla is just kind of random what you get, but in competitive there's actually a strategy, you know. Just chill. So yeah, peace out guys. Have a great day.